not sure how this is gonna work. I'm sitting on the radiator because my bum's cold. I've just stepped from outside and it was raining, and I'm just trying to get warm before I set about working. So excuse the lighting if the lighting is a bit off, because I've kind of turned it up. Anyways, just a quick video just to explain the power of words. So last night, my intention after leaving the hospital was to pop back to my place to pick up some fabric. But when I left the hospital, I thought, do I really fancy this? It was just coming up to 8 o'clock. And I considered the journey ahead of me, and I thought, do I really want to do this? And as I stood waiting for the bus, I thought, okay, I'll let the buses decide. So if the bus which takes me directly to my sister's place showed up first, then I'd go back to my sister's place and collect the fabric today, which is today. And if any other bus came, then I'd get that part way and then pick up the tram or another bus and collect the fabric. So the bus which takes me directly to my sister's place arrived first, so I came back. And then I kind of wondered to myself, should I have done that? Because, the evening was still young. But irrespective, that was the decision that I made. So then this morning I was up at 5:30. In fact, I hardly slept because I thought, oh my gosh, I've got this journey ahead of me. First thing, I need to go and collect fabric. And I didn't really get much sleep. So 5:30, I looked at the time to see if I could catch a bus at that time. But then the spirit was willing, but the flesh was literally weak. So I went back to sleep. And then I had another go. This was about 7:30. And I thought, no, I can't do this. So I went back to sleep. And then I woke up just after 8, about 8:30. And I thought, okay, let's go for it. So I did. Now, sometimes you don't realize things until after the fact. Why certain things are. So the intention was to literally go in, grab the fabric and head back out, but that didn't happen because I got the bus which stops right outside Sainsbury's. So I popped in to pick up something to eat for later and didn't see anything I fancied, so I got ice cream, which I've already had at this time in the morning. Anyways, I was still in Sainsbury's, and of course there were 3 members of staff behind the tills, all wearing masks, and then the other customers all wearing masks except me, and it was, the social distancing thing until you get to the till and you're all huddled together. 3 tills, it's a Sainsbury's local, and all 3 of you are sort of standing next to each other. So the guy to my left tried to pull away, which, every time with this social distancing, coronavirus, I walk around with a smile on my face. So when I departed Sainsbury's, I'm still walking along the road with a smile on my face. And as I came towards a street corner close to where I live, there were 2 women standing there talking. Now I'm the very friendly sort, so I knew one of the women to say hi to. We always greet one another when we see each other. So it wasn't unusual for me to jump into the conversation, though they were having a conversation among themselves. And so the one that I know, she was talking to another woman who I've never met before, and she was fully masked up. But behind the mask, she was complaining about being unable to breathe and how uncomfortable it is, and talking about whether or not will ever get rid of the virus. So enter the conversation. Now, last night while I was awake, working out how I was going to go about my day to day, with regards collecting the fabric and hitting the deadlines and everything, I was up posting on Facebook. Now, sometimes there are things that I would like to say that I can't say, and things that I would like to write that I can't write. So it's a bit like having too much information and not being able to do anything with it. So anyway, I posted, and I'm sure people think some of my posts on Facebook are the rantings of a mad woman. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. But what ended up happening with these two women, we ended up getting into a conversation, and everything that I posted last night on Facebook came up, not because I introduced it as a subject, but because they brought it up. What was interesting on the Facebook post, there's, in a previous video I talk about this doctor, whatever her name is, highly educated woman from Africa who's chosen to make Britain her home, and all she does is talk about how racist Britain is and how racist British people are, which is quite funny. See, now the sun's really messing with the light because it's decided to come out. So she, in the tweet is still live, the one, my response to her, what she said about Lawrence Fox. So that's still going live, and people are still commenting and liking and whatever people do on Twitter. So, it's about putting things out there. So sometimes, even though I feel like I'm in a situation where my hands are tied, I can't say what I want to say, and I can't write what I want to write because it's just too much information. But it was interesting because after the fact, after I finished speaking with these two women, which interestingly, one of them was a dark-skinned black woman, and the other one, the one I know, I thought all this time I've known her, we only know one another to say hi, didn't even know her name. I thought she was white, but she informed me that in conversation, she informed us, that her father is from Trinidad. But also, I have posted about the mixed race agenda and the black agenda, and that the whole point of elevating black people and mixed race people in the society so that they can turn, I say they, yeah, I'm black, but I don't include myself because I just live my life. I'm not getting involved in anybody's race wars. But the whole point of elevating them, because in many instances, black people, mixed race people feel very much put upon, rightly or wrongly, whether it be real or not. Is what's been pumped into them, in my opinion, by the mainstream and by their idols. So now they're elevating them. One of the things that I don't do is watch TV. I perhaps watch TV, I would say maybe once a year for the French Open, which is currently being played at the moment in Paris. So I was watching my favorite Rafa Nadal yesterday, and in between games, at change of ends rather, they put ITV4 has adverts, and I tell you, I cringe when I see these adverts, because what a difference a year makes. Suddenly black and mixed race is the in thing, and it's sort of like, if like me you don't watch TV and you're not plugged into the mainstream, you see the tennis ball, sticking with tennis analogy, you see the tennis ball the size of a football, so straight away you can see the agenda. So this came up. So at the time when I was talking to these two women, I thought, as I said, one was white. I've seen her around with her grandchildren who are mixed race. So I thought, all the time we're having this conversation, I thought I'm talking to a white woman, up until the point she introduced the fact that her father's from Trinidad, making herself mixed race. And I went there because the whole point of the sort of elevating black people via the Black Lives Matter movement, or rather putting it into their heads, I say they because I'm not included in this, putting it into their heads that you are the in thing, you are what is special now, you are the special race. So the whole idea of that, because black people, in my opinion, are the easiest people to con, the easiest people to sell a lie to, due to low self-esteem issues within the race, I would say. but that's something that that's for academics and people who consider themselves bright to discuss in their own time. I'm just saying it as I see it. So because black people are so easily conned, they believe this Black Lives Matter thing is about them, that they've arrived, it's our time. So the white lady, Christine, well, actually, she's not white, she's mixed race. Christine asked me, so what about mixed race? Because she's got a granddaughter that she pulled out of the school because, talking about skin issues. She said the darker skinned girls were bullying her granddaughter for being light skinned. And very interestingly, like I said, the other woman, Faye, she's dark skinned black. And she was agreeing with everything. There was no one there getting defensive because I'm saying things about mixed race people. I'm saying things about black people. We're all discussing these issues. Faye, by the time she had the mask on, by the time we finished talking, she discarded it, and she was, reaching up to the sky, praising God and thanking God that I'd come along, and thanking God for my strength, right? So, but the whole point of the matter, I'll come back to why I didn't actually pick up the fabric, because hindsight is a fantastic thing. Why I didn't pick up the fabric last night. So here we are on the street corner at 9:30 in the morning having this level of conversation. And there I was last night feeling, if you like, frustrated that I have these thoughts and I cannot express them on YouTube. I cannot express them in the written form on Facebook. But, meeting people face to face, you can actually have this out. Have the conversation and nobody is offended. Why was nobody offended? Because there was nobody in the mix who is sensitive to these things. So, not everybody in society is of the feelings and emotions school of thought, where everything boils down to how I feel, how I make you feel, kind of thing, right? So even with regards Barack Obama, for example, where people will insist that he was the first black president, which he isn't. This topic came up. It's not something that people discuss, but we were sort of going through all the mixed race people who are very vocal, like Lewis Hamilton, Alicia Dixon, Ashley Banjo, Meghan Markle. You go through the very vocal. So Christine, the lady of mixed heritage with the mixed heritage grandchildren, she asked, if the black and the whites are against each other, what about the mixed race? So I said, so that was the killer question, because the whole point of the mixed race thing is that we're neither one or the other, which is what I said to her, neither black, neither white. So, and these are the ones being used, who are being elevated, because black people have issues, when it comes to skin, whether knowingly or not, it's a big thing, which is why Christine was saying she had to take her granddaughter out of the school, because now the way I look at it from this perspective. I've already said the only time I think about my skin is when I'm doing this. I've got a few hours to kill, so whenever I get time, I work on the skin, because heaven knows it needs help right now due to the lack of the spa facilities. But yeah, so with regards to the conversation we were having, a lot of truth came out, a lot of things that you won't hear on the BBC or in the mainstream came out, and we all partied, we all went in different directions, and as well, Faye in particular, because she was the one wearing the mask, she was a prisoner to the mask. But the whole point of the matter is, and I keep coming back to this, if you don't have personal experiences to share, you cannot inspire people. It's all good and well rehearsing somebody else's story, but you've got to give people something to work with. So for example, I don't wear a mask. I have not worn a mask. I've never worn a mask since we were told we must wear a mask. that, and nothing's happened to me. Now, some people would argue, oh, you're just lucky. You're just lucky the law hasn't caught up to you. But I keep telling people it's a spiritual thing. It's how you carry yourself. If you carry yourself in a certain way and you walk with your energy, as someone said, I think it was Peter Hitchens, we're talking about who the police are picking off. Always, it was the same thing in school. When the teacher wants to discipline the class or to exert authority, for want of a better term, I was very well behaved because I came from the Jamaican school system where we're taught to respect adults and respect our teachers, etc. So if I was sort of distracted for a moment in class, the teacher would pick on me. Why? Because straight away she has my obedience. Whereas you used to have some other ones in the class who were terrible, really raised poorly, no manners, didn't have discipline, the discipline to just sit in the class and learn. So it's the same situation. So if you go out there and you're rigid with fear, like I said to them, I've dropped people. I've literally got rid of people I've known for a long time who, in my opinion, are just waiting for the law or the authorities to catch up with me, just so they can say, see, I told you they were arresting people and fining people and doing this and that. Now, my thing is, if I don't feel it, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do something because somebody's told me that I need to do it. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to do anything that my fellow human being tells me to do. The only person who I need to obey is God, right? And as far as I'm concerned, I don't worship human beings, right? I don't, because you've got a name tag or a title or your chief this in your profession. If the common sense that I have outweighs your expertise, then I will apply my common sense, because I don't live my life in fear. So it was sort of like on this kind of level that I was talking about. I was giving real life examples, personal examples, and saying, look, I don't wear a mask and I'm not living in fear of catching any virus. And so by the time, as I said, we'd finished talking, Faye discarded the mask and she had a spring to her steps. So to wind up, the moral of the story is, with the tiredness this morning, with being unable to get up and just get out as early as possible to pick up the fabric, with the bus turning up at the time it did and bringing me back straight to my sister's place, with everything, it was divinely ordained. And some people would say, oh no, it's just coincidence. There is no such thing as coincidence in my life. I threw it out there and I said, okay, whichever bus turns up, that's a decision I'm going to make. And the decision was taken away from me. But the moral of the story is, had I left home earlier, I would not have bumped into Christine or Faye. And the whole point of life is that we improve and that we help others improve. So that I've said in previous videos, in the book, wherever I've written or spoken or given lessons or talks at church, I always emphasize self-improvement. And sometimes there's a saying, we are the only Bible, the only book that people will ever read. It's by our examples and the way we conduct ourselves that we inspire others, or we set bad examples. So we can set good examples or bad examples just by our conduct, just by the experiences that we share with them. So suddenly I'm not tired. I'm still cold. So like I said, I'm sitting on the radiator. But so begins another good day, I guess. As I always say, pick sense out of nonsense. And you guys have a good day. Bye.